Perfect. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. How are you? Doing well? So thank you for coming back. This is a good sign that you did not run away. That means you like it, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. Well, to start, I see some new faces over here, and I want to introduce myself properly for you. My name is Dr. Sara Kadi. I have doctorate in education and leadership from Pepperdine University. I am really passionate in building young leaders with strong and deep Muslim identity. I am a daughter, I am a sister, I am a wife, and I am a mother. And this is the most important goal and target of my life. Well, today we will talk about women and leadership. We will discuss feminism, hijab as a Muslim identity. Today's session, it will be different. It will be in a different tone and flavor. It will be spiced with love, kindness, care, and a lot of emotion and passion. Why? Because we're talking about her. We're talking about you, me, us, women and females. Before we start, here it is our agenda for today. We will talk about women, parenting, and family. Then we will discuss feminism, Islam, and leadership. After that, we will talk about hijab as a Muslim and leadership identity. And to conclude, we will discuss some skills and technique to teach young girls how to wear hijab when they believe in it. Let's get started. Before we start, I have a question. You may ask why we are specializing women with a special session. Why women need to have a full day and a full session in this workshop. Do you have any answer? Why we specialize women with a special session? Why we do not talk about women as female together? What make women so special? Perfect, they make the generation. Any other answer? This is actually very, very good answer. Perfect, raising family, raising kids. Huda. Perfect. Perfect. Multitask. Multitask. Jenna. Yes, right. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Istawsu bin nisa'i khayran" before he died. All your answer is right. I specialized women with a special session today because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. And this is ayah. It was telling the story of Maryam alayha salam, of the mother of Maryam alayha salam, when she gave birth to her. And she was sad and complaining to Allah and saying, "Oh Allah, I gave birth to a daughter and I really wanted a boy." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the ayah says, "Wallahu a'lamu bima wada'at." Allah explained, He knows what she gave birth to. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue the ayah saying, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. Males are not like females. Many of people does not understand this ayah sometimes. And they think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala minimize the value and do not appreciate female as much as they appreciate male. But who understand the Arabic linguistic very well and understand the description of this ayah, this is actually a way of preferring and higher the value of women and mention how important she is in creating family. Why females? As you said, because mothers is the foundation for home. Every seeds need good ground, good dirt to put the seed in to grow up high and strong and create a beautiful tree. Every building needs a strong foundation, and every kids, every family needs a mother. As our sister Huda says also, women can multitask. You can do everything in the same time. You can cook, you can clean, you can raise children. Allah created you in a different way for this job. He prepared you to be the mother, to be the leader, to be the factor of men in the future. Also, you are your kids' first love, first teacher, first role model. If you are good, they will become, inshallah, good. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam also said, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة. Every human being are born on fitra. And it's up to his parents to make his fitra good or bad. And I believe women play very strong role in that. Also, in the world we live in right now, women are facing vicious attack to change their beliefs, to change their moral, especially Muslims women. They wanna insert inside their heart that Islam did not take care of them. Why? To destroy families. I remember hearing a wise man saying once, having a child for a man is a joyful moment, but having a child for a woman is a journey of life. And I think this is true 100%, not because I'm a woman, but this is what the history show, and this is what the experience show. Next, before we go into our presentation, I want to ask a question, and I want all of you to answer this question. What is a woman? I want to hear from each and every one of you, because this is going to play an important role in our presentation. Volunteers? Okay, Sara.
I think woman is love. Love.
A woman, especially when she is the mom and sister and daughter, I believe and she's the life for her family.
Woman, she is the half of the society.
Perfect, amazing. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Who wants to share? Okay. Let's finish.
Warm and nurturing.
Amazing. Do you want to share? Does anybody want to share? Please, guys. I want to hear a lot of answers. Oh. Patient. Amazing.
Strong creation.
Amazing. Strong creation.
Foundation of
Foundation of society.
Giving, unlimited giving.
Unlimited giver.
Caring.
Caring.
And the more powerful and strong, like being a mom, is needs a lot of strength.
Strength.
Yeah.
A strong person.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Bring family to
Bring family together. To spread it. Okay.
Compassion.
Compassion. You want to share? Okay. So, before I answer that question to you, I want to say how proud I am of actually finding an answer coming out of you. And I want to tell you why after I explain and define what is a woman. I'm going to start answering the same way my 12 years old daughter answered this question. She opened her eyes wide and she looked at me in a confused way and she said, "What is a woman? A woman is a female." And I actually hugged her and I was so proud of her because was my answer. Well, a woman in the English dictionary is a human being who's been created in a female body to do a female job or a female role. This is in the dictionary. But when I think about women and I want to answer that question, I think deeply about passion, emotion, kindness, caring. I think about loving daughter. I think about supportive sister. I think about partner, leader. I think about teacher. I think about wives. I think about mothers. Women are a word we cannot describe. We cannot give a definition because she is many things, many persons in one. And I want to tell you the story of this question. Actually, while I was preparing for this session, I was looking for videos and program to help me in the feminist topic. And I found this video. What is the Woman? By Matt Walsh. To be honest with you, the movie does not connect to feminism in any other way. And we will discuss it, inshallah, in the next session when we talk about homosexuality, because it's talk about gender and sex and what does women mean. But the thing that was like confusing me and impressing me, that this man traveled around America questioning doctors, professors, lawyers, people work in the government, even people who walk in the street, and not a single one know how to answer this question. People played with the form, people changed the truth, people even stopped the interview because they don't want to go to the truth, which is a woman is a female, because it doesn't work with their beliefs and their intention. As I recommend for you to find this movie as parent and watch it. And I don't mind as a mother for kids who are 15 or and up to see it with you, because we will talk about this movie next inshallah in 2 weeks, because it's been recommended as #1 movie for parents to watch, because it shows very sensitive and important information. I found this movie in Plex. It's not in Netflix or YouTube, it's Plex. Next, we cannot talk about women if we do not discuss feminism. Feminism, that word that people scream with in the street, loud and clear. Women hold pictures and signs calling for feminism. What is feminism? Well, the dictionary says feminism is a social and political movement that calls for equality of sexes between men and women, recognize women's rights, and finally, empowering women. When did feminism start? Feminism started in the 18th centuries when a writer named Mary Wollstonecraft, it's a difficult name, wrote a book called Ventilation of Rights of Women. And actually, that book was impressive. I went through a lot of the pages. It's on YouTube and in the internet. She didn't call for anything not normal. She just called for basic right for women. And you know what is the most important right that she called for? Education. Education. That's simple. And actually, if you go through some of her quotes, she has a message, an effective and positive message. One of her most recognized quotes, that mind has no gender. Also, if you see the first quote in the beginning, she said, I do not wish them, which mean men, to leave power over men, but over themselves. So she doesn't call for something not ordinary. She is not calling for what we hear right now, because she actually wants the benefit for the woman at that time. Unfortunately, her book did not do well and did not do any changes. And it doesn't actually count as a first movement of feminism. Next, the first movement of feminism started a century after that, in the 19th century. It came after the Industrial Revolution, when an organization started by white women named the National American Women Suffrage Association, NAWASA. Well, this organization or this movement called for specific things. First, it called for basic rights for women, like proper education, employment, wages, owning property, and there is a sound was loud and clear calling to be seen and recognized legally away from their husband. They had zero identity around their husband. Actually, if she is not married, she may have a better legal issue status before in compare when she become a wife. Also, this wave, or this movement did not have a good reputation. Why? Because it was created by white, rich women that call for rights for white and high class women. So they are suffering from rights, from lack of light. There have been discriminating against, and actually they want to be specialized in rights and do not give it to other races or other colors. And actually, this movement succeed of allowing women to vote in the United States. Next wave of feminism started in the 1960 to the 1970. It's called for equality in the workplace, to better pay for women, safety. What specialized this movement is to save women and protect her under a legal system or a legal law against domestic violence and sexual harassment. Also, it's called loudly for the woman to protect her body from not getting pregnant or to practice abortion. Third wave of feminism. It started in the 1990s. There is a big shift in tone, in the goal, and the way women speak in this movement. Also, they claim, and this is what interesting for me, feminism means different from women and different women. It depends in how the woman see herself, depends on her race, class, sexuality, identity. So there is not united meaning for all women to define themselves in a certain way. This movement took a very weird shape where there is, if I cannot share the type of the picture I saw online, where women went in the street, start taking off their clothes, burning them in the street. So it was a corrupt and not appropriate way to show and ask for the rights. Finally, there is a lot of actors who went up in the TV and supported this type of waves of feminism. One of them is Lady Gaga. And a lot of the feminists at that time refused to call this movement as a feminist. They want to call it a sisterhood. So they want to change everything that happened there. This movement called for sexual equality, body positivity, because the body of the woman was focused on the camera, on the Hollywood, on the commercial. So they want to say, we don't like that, we don't want that. If you fat, if you not fat, it's up to you, live your life. And of course, women rights for doing abortion and living the way she wants. Finally, the modern feminist. Some researchers said this is the fourth, and there is a fifth, and maybe there is a sixth. But I choose to use the word modern feminist because it's covered all of them. It started in 2012. It called for women empowerment, LGBT plus rights, equal pay, ending sexual harassment, and body rights. And this movement show the extremist of the level where women reach, and actually their idea, your brain cannot even imagine it. Sometimes they treat men as enemy. They want to cancel men, and they have actually expression called cancel culture. They feel men in this earth, they are their enemy, and they want to fight them and end them. It's really corrupt way of seeing women and commercialize women. Also, they talk a lot about hijab in a good way, sometimes and in a bad way. But in the end, also they say it's your choice if you want to wear it, and if you don't wear it, don't wear it. But a lot of them surprisingly agreed that wearing hijab is agree with the feminist meaning of this movement. Why did I? Yeah, and before I forget, and believe it or not, until today, they did not reach what they're looking for. And until today, they're looking for equal right, especially in equal payment at the job. Believe it or not, today here in America, women and men does not pay equally. Today, imagine that. So they have creating a holiday that name Equal Pay Day, Pay Day, to recognize this discrimination against women. And this year, it's going to be in March 14, where women go to streets, celebrate over there, and claim for their rights. Why did I explain this history of feminism? Why did I went through the history and collect this information? Because when I reflect on that loud voice that make us all feel we're lack the rights, we're unrespected, especially as Muslim women. And here it is, some of the idea I came for. Women are fighting since 200 years in the Western country. Imagine only 200 years to get basic rights like education, legal recognition, work, equal payment. I can hear them in pain. I can hear them screaming, see us, please see us. They call for their own rights. However, they still have that call and nobody is hearing them. Also, as a woman, I can tell they're hurting. I can tell it's not easy for a woman to scream for her simple rights to get. I don't agree with what they say. I'm not justifying what they're doing, but they come out of pain and they look for something as a human being to live in. And believe it or not, there is no religion or law to protect them. They worked hard and fight to get to their basic rights. Also, finally, I watched a lot of videos and men critiquing feminism. And to be honest with you, it did bother me the way they insult them, they made fun of their needs. And I watched a lot of Muslims, scholars. They do not discuss the problem, they do not cover it from an Islamic way. They just fight their character and their needs, ignoring the bigger problem. And this is lead to our next point. How does Islam look for feminism? How does Islam define feminism? Sadly and proudly, I will tell you, after a thought reflection, that all these rights, all these needs, Islam and more, Islam ensured it for us, Muslims women, and protected for us 14 centuries ago. Not 14 years ago, not 1400 ago. No, it's 14 centuries ago. Sadly, when they call a name or refer to a Muslim woman, they refer to a woman that doesn't have her right. And it's not the Islam to blame. No, it's not. It is the way men and women act and represent Islam. And they act under social and culture norm, but they're saying this is Islam. And the Islam is innocent from anything that's been said about it. So, how does Islam define feminism? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَوَمَنْ يُنَشَّأُ فِي الْحِلْيَةِ وَهُوَ فِي الْخِصَامِ غَيْرُ مُبِينٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refer to the female and a woman by nature, refer to her to the fitra, refer to her by a woman who like hilya, who like beauty, who like jewelry, who like makeup, and she doesn't like comfort. She doesn't like to fight. Allah created her to be soft and kind. So if you want to know what is feminism, go watch a young girl 2 and 3 years old girl. She have a nature love for makeup, fashion. Haven't you seen a young girl that take the lipstick and put it in her mouth, wearing her mom high heels, enjoying a dress and dancing with it? Females has a nature love to be soft, nice, delicate, and gentle. Females have natural love and need for passion, emotion, and a deep need to love and be loved. Why? Because she wants to be a mother. Because this is her nature and this is the type of her creation. Female also have a natural love, a natural habit for motherhood. Look at young girls when they play with the dolls. How did they learn to feed them, change them, cover them, hold them tight? Because this is their nature. So, feminism in Islam is fitrah. It's the nature of being a woman who loves to dress, to take care of herself, and love to be loved, love to have passion, and want to be a mother. Women rights in Islam. As I said, this is a very sensitive topic. And when Islam comes, it's always the topic women are abused in Islam. Before I go and tell you how did Islam treat women, let's take a small tour through the history to tell you how were women treated through the history before Islam. Starting with the Greek history. Greek history believe there is an idol named Pandora, which is a woman, and she is the source of every evil and devilness in life. Also, women were made to pleasure men. Also, Socrates himself, the social scientist, believe women are like tree, but they are poisonous tree because they're very beautiful. And when you look at them, they're amazing. But when you eat from them, you will get poisoned and die, believe it or not. Roman history. And Roman history is labeled with very cheap image for women. And if you watch any Roman movies, you see nudity is very high and strong over there. Also, men has the right to kill their wives without no law to punish them or judge them. Also, they believe women were made just for pleasure. Also, and was a disturbing for me, they believe women do not have the right to talk, and they have special locks to put on their mouths so they stop them from talking, and they take it out just when they want to communicate with them. Next, Judaism history. And if you see somebody mistreated women, go to the Judaism history. And it's going, believe it or not, until today. And you know what is the worst thing about the Judaism history or the Judaism way of treating women? That using it under the name of the religion. They believe their religion asked them to treat women this way. Well, Jewish men believe women is the symbol of filthiness and dirtiness in life. And listen to this. If a woman got pregnant and gave birth to a boy, she take 40 days only to become pure. But if she had a girl, she take double the time, 80 days. Why? Because filth on filth, she need to become purer. Also, Judaism believe women is the original source of sin in this world. They deeply believe that Eve, Hawa, is the reason why Adam left Al-Jannah. And in Quran, we never heard that. It was both their sins, both their fault, and both had the same punishment. Also, women used to be property for men. Sell them, buy them, exchange them with other men, do whatever they want with them. Also, they believe women role just for bringing children. And believe it or not, until today, the very religious Jewish man, when he got to bed, he have a curtain between him and his wife. Until today, the religious people. What get worse than that? What? Also, let's talk about the Indian history. Women over there has no right as well. Women over there until today, for non-Muslim, consider a financial burden, because in Islam, when you want to marry your daughter, she will get a dowry. She will get a gift from a man. No, in India, a woman pay it for the man. Also, when her husband die, she get the choice in some culture to kill herself, to burn with him alive, or to bury with him alive. And how terrifying is this? Also, and this is just was weird for me. You know, there is different group over there and different belief. One of these groups believe that women actually existed in this earth by sudden, because Allah or God, when created men, there were a left material, and He didn't know what to do with it, so He collected together, and a female came to life. Look how corrupt their idea. Egyptian history, woman, of course, was the symbol of the devil, and also family marriages was very common. They believe in the necessity of the clear bloodline, and the father could marry his daughter or his sister because they want the bloodline to be very, very pure. Finally, Arab history in the age of ignorance, and that's mean ayam al-jahiliyyah, before Islam. A lot of the books I went through and read says actually Arabs before Islam get affected in the way they treated women by Jewish. And you will see the example for that, especially in Yemen and in the Arab, in Al-Jazeera Al-Arabiya. They get to the way they treat women from Jewish, because there is Jewish over there. So first, woman was a man property. Sell her, buy her, and even they were exchanging women. Also, women for sure, they have no rights. Also, when the husband die, she become one of his property. People can get her as an inheritance. And you know what is the disaster? The son could own his mother. How corrupt is that? How bad is that? Finally, as everybody know what Islam fought, women used to bury alive, because there's a source of shame and money, and money as financial burden on their fathers. So, what did Islam do to women? Islam came, uplifted women, gave her written, protected rights until the judgment day. Well, this is just a small part of what Islam gave women. First of all, Islam gave women the right to live. No man can kill her, no man can bury her alive. She has the right to live. Also, Islam give the woman her complete freedom of the control to be a property or controlled by men. And this is what I mean by that. Islam equalized between men and women in worship, rewards, punishment, even the name and the title that Allah called them in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, المؤمنون والمؤمنات الصادقون والصادقات الصائمين والصائمات. Even in punishment in Surah An-Nur, when he spoke about adultery, he equalized them. Islam is the religion of equality when it's talk about women. Also, Islam gives women the right to have a financial right, the dowry, the inheritance, the child support. She can own, she can sell without nobody controlling her. And when it comes to the social right, Islam did not just say, take care of your family. No, Islam specialize and make it very specific how to treat a daughter, how to treat a wife, how to treat a mother. Islam explained that, and Rasul said, من عال جاريتين حتى تبلغا أتى يوم القيامة أنا وهو كهاتين. Who raised two daughters until they become adult, and he will raise them. He will go to Jannah with me and him like that. Also, there is a man went to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, Prophet Muhammad, who is the most deserving person of my kindness, of my time? Prophet Muhammad says, your mother, your mother, your mother, then your father. Another man asked him, what is the best work to do for Allah after jihad? So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, stay under your mother's feet. There is the Jannah. Also, Islam gives the woman the freedom to say yes in marriages, to say no for marriages. Give her the right to end these marriages, to get divorced if she doesn't want to. Islam allowed Muslim women to work and give her total freedom to choose her job. Islam also ensured the right for women for education. And anybody bash Muslim and says Muslims women do not get educated, let them go and review the history of Aisha, the Prophet of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was the knowledgeable woman at her time, and sometimes her knowledge speed the men. She was so knowledgeable in medicine. She was so knowledgeable in math. She was so knowledgeable in religion. She also was the specialist, the one to go to in the science of al-mawarith, the inheritance science. And in anybody knows that science, it's really, really difficult. So she used to answer and educate the Sahaba, the men, of how to depart al-mirath between Muslims. Also, Islam give the woman the right to share her opinion, to be listened to value her opinion. And the story of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, when Salama told him, go shave your head, be the leader for them when they refuse to shave their head because they want to go to Mecca. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam took the advice of her wife. He didn't say no, a woman, no. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supported that opinion. Finally, Islam recommended for men to call women with the way she liked, to be gentle with her. Islam said, Rasul said, "Rifqan bil qawarir." Be kind and nice for the glasses bottles, because women are soft and kind. And also advise husband when they approach their wife to approach them kindly and nicely. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. So Islam covered all these rights and more 14 centuries ago. And women still ask for them, and they did not even get half of the insurance that we have. And I actually found a nice way to explain how Islam treated women and men equally. Because there is a lot of ayah men and women misunderstand and misdescribe to the world that Islam do not distinguish between men and women, and Islam oppresses women. So Islam did not treat men and women equally. Islam treat them in an equity. What does that mean? So equally mean treating them as the same. And this is not fair because they are not the same. Islam treated them with fairness. And I will give you an example to explain that in a minute. Women and men rights go hand to hand, and they meet in the end. Their rule and right are different depending on their responsibility. And if men have higher rights, that's because they have sometimes higher responsibility. And if women has special rights sometimes, that's because it's feed and support their responsibility. Let's explain this example. For example, if you are watching the fireworks and you have two kids, one of them is 10 and the other one is 2. And both of them cannot see. So you will pull the one that 10 next to you in a way, a place he can see. And you will take the younger one and put it in your shoulder. This is not equal, but this is fair. You're not carrying the oldest, but you're carrying the youngest. Both of them can see because both of them has some differences in them. Also, since with what's happening in Gaza and people are starving, I thought about this example. If we have a loaf of bread and we have an adult man and we have a child, how can we depart this loaf of bread equally between them? So if we cut the loaf of the bread quarter and give it to the child, and 3/4 and we give it to the man, is this fair or equal? It is fair, but it's not equal. Why? No. Yeah, just let me explain to her. So when I said we departed, we give the child less. Yeah, and we give the man more. Why? I know, I know, I know, but this is how people look at the way Islam treated women. So the child doesn't need a lot to survive. He need like we want to keep both of them alive. If we give the man the quarter, the man will die because he need more to build his body. So he need the 3/4 because he's older and he's stronger and he need more of the food to survive. But the kid, a quarter of a bread can make him survive. I know the good thing, the gentle thing, the human thing, the we should give the child more, but to be fair, this is the fair depart for the loft bread. Did you get the idea? Also, I found this point to be very fascinated. First, when I look at this picture, it's make me sick. I hate looking at this picture because I do not see any female here. I see a human being that changing his nature and challenging men. I don't see anything that go to my fitra or the thing I want and I want my daughter to be. Well, through the history and before even feminism start, when people refer to strong women, they look at the political position, the leadership position, and they encourage strong women because they fought the fight, because they stood against men. But this is challenging their nature and challenging their role. In the other hand, when Islam speak about strong women, he speak about women who has strong relationship with Allah. For example, Hajar alayhi salam. And when Ibrahim put her in Mecca, she asked him, did Allah tell you that? He says, yes. She accepted. She has patience. She survived to please Allah. Also, the mother of Musa. Ask any mothers here. Which mother will throw her son in the river and water? I will not do that even if my husband told me it's okay, it's gonna be okay. No, but because she have a strong connection with Allah, she managed to do that. Also, Maryam alayhi salam, she's the one who brought Isa, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a compliment the way she act and behave and the way she used to worship Allah. Also, in Quran, Islam did refer to strong women in a strong leadership position, but it was not in a complimenting way. When Islam talked about the Queen Saba of Yemen and Prophet Sulaiman, because she did not have a strong relationship, it was easy to fool her. I mean, strong relationship with Allah, it was easy to fool her. She appeared actually weak and fragile. But then Islam re-complimented her re-encourage her skills, her action after she become a Muslim. Because when we speak about strong women, we speak about their action when they are connected to Allah. And go through the history. Even in our Arab culture, we refer to Cleopatra, the most beautiful woman and the most strong woman, or Shajarat ad-Dur, the violent, bloody woman in Egypt. So it's totally different scale when it's come to us in Islam. So do you want to have 10 minutes break? A little bit? How about that? Like, like a coffee break or so we can continue? 10 minutes. So we can continue. Thank you. Maybe 5.
It's right now 8:20 is gonna be and by 9.
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
or
Almost 9:10.
9.
So let's go back. There is one. So I'm ready if you are ready. So we can finish on time. Oh, just let me tell them. No, no. So they can start the recording. Oh, sorry. Reem, can you start the recording? Oh, sorry. I thought. Sure. Going back to our point, after we learned about modern feminists and Islam and feminists, the question, how can we raise a stable female? Well, there is three ways to raise a stable female. First, you raise a female that actually believe and practice feminism habits. I'm going to explain that after I tell you the point. Then, teach females to distinguish between the two types of feminists. Also, emphasize and create a young Muslim woman with young and deep Muslim, strong Muslim identity. Let's discuss that in detail. First, encourage feminist habits. Well, you need to start early. When you have a young girl that have love for feminism, for makeup, for dress, support her, encourage her. Do not stop her. I know a lot of culture use the word aib, inappropriate for young girls to put makeup, inappropriate to do her hair because our culture says not. But this is not okay. This is against the fitrah. And you want to protect your girls to use it under your supervision, even if she's young. But buy a kid makeup, buy a safe product to let her play and have fun with. Also, enhance the love of hug and passion and emotion. And we talked about love a lot in the last session. Also, encourage your girl to act like a girl in controlling her emotion, especially when girls become teenager. The innocent, kind, feminine woman or a child change to a very violent, loud, a human that walk in a very stiff and violent way because of her hormones. So correct that. Teach her how to talk. And there is nothing wrong of saying, honey, you're a girl. Girls does not speak this way. And we're not putting any culture or social norms against her. This is the truth. This is how Allah created us, and this is the fitrah. Also, let her practice some feminist activity, like sports, like dancing. Engage her with friend to practice this activity as friend together. Finally, encourage her and teach her to take care of herself. Teach her the tahara rules in Islam. Teach her how to take a shower, how to do her hair. Engage with her in this activity. Do a face mask together. Do a massage or a facial party together. Be the good example for her so she grow up taking care of herself. Next, teach your girls what does the corrupt meaning of feminism mean. And I strongly recommend to hold girls between age 9 and 12 and start explaining what is corrupt feminism mean. Why I choose these ages? Because it's the ages where girl become a woman. It's the start of puberty. So you need to sit down with your girls and explain to her in a simple way. There is women doesn't have their rights and they're calling for their right in a way it's not good or not appropriate. And I want you to share with her some of the symbol of feminism. Go to Google and look at it. And there is a lot of bad images to reflect female, and it should not be shared with. I'm sorry, it's not should be the symbol that reflect to female. And out of respect of you and the place we are in, I couldn't use it because it's really, really bad. But as I said, knowledge is power, and your girls need to know what's going on in the world. You don't need to go deep, but they need to be educated so nobody can fool them. Also, explain on the other side how Islam came and agreed with feminism in a certain way, and compare between the two type of feminism to deliver a strong, educated female. Third, create a strong Muslim with a strong Muslim identity. Create a girl that understands that Islam value her nature, value her beauty. Islam is encouraging girl to be beautiful. Islam says, أو من ينشأ في الحلية وهو في الخصام غير مبين. Then explain to her how Islam uplifted women, how Islam equalized between men and women. Explain to her how Islam never meant to minimize her. Let Islam live inside her. Let the idea of unequal treatment that people try to inject in the mind of Muslim women live inside of her heart. Also, make her know that the difference between men and women depend on their responsibility and their body differences, not in their right and their not in the right, not because they're male and female. And finally, enhance the meaning and the love of hijab inside her heart from an early age. What is the benefit of doing that? As we said, knowledge is power. We want to create knowledgeable, a smart, wise woman who has the self-immune system to distinguish between right and wrong. Why? Because when she go out to society, you want her to know and distinguish between her need as a female and her desires and her responsibility and her role. Also, nowadays, we see girls live only for their body, live only for their beauty. They need to know that Islam encourages feminists. Islam does not go against feminism, but you're not living to feed and exercise and take care of this body. Look at all the plastic surgeries, the filler, the Botox, and how girls are crazy about maintaining their youth. There is nothing about maintaining your youth, but the level of extreme is not what our religion calling and asking for. Also, and this is a very, very, very important point. Teach your girls to understand that Islam insurance saved her rights. Because when she got to life, she will fear injustice. Maybe a bad husband, maybe even from her brothers in the future. So she understands that's a problem, goes to people, and not act in an act of an action, an act of a hate of Islam. So Islam is not the reason for that. And I'm encouraging you, sisters, if you have something inside your heart that tell you there is an ayah or hadith that minimizing you, go ask. Do not feel shy. Because wallahi, when you go ask, it's gonna change your over perspective about Islam. Why I'm telling you that? Because I was that woman one day. I actually get terrified when I remember one of the teacher explaining the ayah, الرجال قوامون على النساء. The ayah was said, الرجال is in top and power of women. And the way she explained it to me, it was so bad, so minimizing to me. And I grew up not liking being a female because of that ayah. Also, I had a big problem with the ayah of inheritance. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلذَّكَرْ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنثَيَيْنِ, for boy has double the amount of girl. And when I was young, I did not have that access to internet. And I did not have an access to go to a scholar or a sheikh to ask. It was really hard. We have specific people to ask, and they all explained this ayah in a way it's making me hate being a female. And after I researched and I looked, I felt proud and happy that I am a woman. And I'm going to share with you what a wise man told me. He told me, women get less than the man only in 4 situations. Only 4 situations. And when they get less, because of the responsibility and the duty of men to spend that man on them. And there is 10 of situation where women take double or more, and there is some situation where women get and men do not get at all. And he asked me, how do you prefer taking your part and having a man spending his part on you, and you do not share your part with anybody else? But also, he mentioned something very important. He said, expect that you may face some discrimination from that man. He may take that money and never share it with you. But this is not the fault of Islam. Islam created that law to care of you. So there is a thin line between what Islam asks for us and how men, especially Muslim men, act against us. And I'm sorry, I'm not discrimination against you. I feel I am speaking in a power way against you. And I will conclude this session by a quote from Mary Wollstonecraft, because I believe it's to the point. It says, strengthening the female mind by enlarging it, and there will be an end for the blind obedience. And this is exactly what Islam recommends. Educate your daughter, because knowledge is power. And this is a proof that women, when they start calling for feminism, they just want that. But because they have no solid background, no religion to correct their thought, to correct their moral, it went out of hand and it's reached the extremes. Next, hijab and Muslim identity. Well, this topic that raise a lot of question marks when it's come. This topic that make a lot of people nervous, hate Islam. And to be honest with you, it made me nervous, and I thought a lot about how should I address it today. Because truly and honestly, I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to judge anyone. And I believe I am not a feminist. feminist. But when it's come to this topic, I think they do this way when they call for feminism. I am a feminist when the topic this come. Why? Because I'm a Muslim. And I believe it's your choice to choose to wear the hijab or not. But I also believe that Allah is there and Judgment Day is there. And Allah is the one who's going to judge each one of us. But as a Muslim leadership educator, I believe deeply, deeply in my heart. So if you wear the hijab or you did not wear it, you will be a wonderful mother. But you will lack the full picture of creating strong Muslim with a deep Muslim identity. Because hijab play a big, big part in this. First, how does hijab reflect Muslim identity? Hijab reflects Muslim identity in 3 ways. I will name it first, then explain it. First, hijab reflects women's identity, belief, roots, culture, nature. Second, hijab reflects how much Islam care and protect women's rights. Third and finally, hijab is the true and the deepest and the ultimate meaning of freedom. When we talk about hijab as a Muslim identity, we cannot find a better word to describe Muslim identity but hijab. Because if there is one woman between thousands of women, you can figure out that she is Muslim because she's wearing the hijab. Her hijab will tell you she is Muslim. She followed the Prophet Muhammad. Her hijab will reflect her moral, her ethics. And believe it or not, it will reflect the culture. Countries wear the hijab in a different way. Turkish women, Arabs women, Syrians lady, Egyptian lady, Indian, Pakistani, they wear the hijab in a certain way. You can tell. Actually, they come from that certain area. So hijab is the reflection of who you are. Also, hijab sends a powerful message, especially when the woman that wear it is successful, educated, when the woman that wear it work, successful in her life, she's a good mother, it will reflect that your religion is not taking away your right. That scarf that you're putting in your head is not covering your mind. Even though this word bothering me because I heard it a lot of Muslim women when they get abused by other people telling them, you're not good enough because you're wearing a hijab. So she said, I'm covering my head, not covering my brain. Hijab, when you're successful, educated, will send the correct message. Also, I have a deep, deep, deep belief. These days, hijab need to be very fashionable, very colorful, respectful, cover your body, but in the same time, tell the world, we're not stupid. We're not come from the centuries that doesn't know how to wear a dress. We're not abused. We just cover what need to be covered. Also, tell the world our beauty is not for everyone. I show you what I want to show you, and I cover what I don't want to show you. And I believe the woman who take care of her fashion, of her hijab, send a best message, the best message, without even speaking a word. Next point, hijab reflects the beauty of Islam and how Islam respects you and care for you. It's really important to know that hijab did not exist to torture us or minimize us. Hijab existed to protect us, to uplift us, to increase the value of our bodies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَى أَنْ يُعْرَفْنَا فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah says, I want female Muslim women to be known as Muslim women. I want men, bad men, to know they're covered because they're protected. They're untouchable. Their beauty is not for everyone. And I know, especially when we live here in the Western country, a lot of women says, I don't want to be known with it. It's bothering me. It's affecting me. It's struggle in my life. And I agree. But Allah knows best. And wearing it when you are proud of it, wallahi, Allah will open the door for you. Next, hijab, when you wear it with a belief that it's made and created to care for you and to protect you, even when you go through struggles, it will save your purity, your heart from being corrupt. And as a Muslim woman who live in a Western country, I face trouble. Trouble, for example, to work. And the person who said, women do not get discriminated in the workplace because they're wearing hijab, he doesn't know what does it mean to wear hijab in the workplace. And a lot of women take their hijab just to be accepted in a certain job. And I know, brothers and sisters, I faced that type of discrimination. In my field, leadership, it was very, very difficult. People do discriminate against Muslims women because of the scarf that on her head. Also, it's not only in Western women, also in the Arabs country. Hijab does not reflect the image a lot of people looking for. Also, in our society, the image of women become a corrupt image. Men, boys who want to ask for marriages, they want a girl does not wear hijab. And I know a lot of boys in the age of hijab says, I don't want a woman that wear a hijab. She's not going to be knowledgeable. She's not going to be fashionable. She's not going to feed my desire and happiness. Even though if the woman is wearing, if the mother is wearing the hijab and the family is really a religious family, because of what's going on in the media, because of the image of the woman. So when you raise your child, empathize in that meaning. Hijab is invented to care and save you from your desires, from other people's desires, from other people's needs. Next, hijab is the ultimate meaning of freedom. You may pause for a second and say, how come? It's covering me, it's limiting me, it's jailing me. And I agree, as a female, you want to take it off because you like to dress up, you like to be beautiful. But I believe that we are the creation of Allah. And Allah created us, and He created the manual, the best manual to make us happy, to make us function in this life. And even if you don't like it, think deeply about it as a jihad. And I wear it, and I'm telling you as a woman, when I don't like it, but I believe in the reward and the cause of it. And when you raise your child, try to convince her, even if she doesn't like it, it's the best for her because it's the order of Allah. Hijab make you free because we are free. We're free from everything else except from Allah. And wearing the hijab is going to set us free because we can control our desire. We're free from ourselves. We're free from other people's opinion. We're free from other people's judgment because it's the order of Allah. Finally, hijab, our world need future Muslim leaders who are educators, who are successful, and who are well covered to represent our religion, to fix the community. Brothers and sisters, our ummah is suffering. Look at what's happening in Gaza, in Palestine. Palestine needs us. And wallahi, the Muslim family is not going to get to the right direction until women follow the order of Allah. I'm not saying hijab is going to get us to winning, but hijab, it's a necessary way of opening your heart and even the khair, even the barakah to your home and your kids. Last point of today's presentation is how to teach your girls to love hijab and make it as a habit in their life. First, treat your daughters with deep love. Love her. And we talked about love in the last couple of presentations. Also, when you treat your child, treat her with respect. Extra respect because she's a daughter. When you treat your girl, treat her equally with your boy. Do not distinguish between them. Do not favor the boy in anything because he's a boy. Actually, give the boy more responsibility because he's the boy. This is the order of Allah. He's going to be responsible for her when he grow up. Also, enhance the meaning of feminism. Support her. The tips we talked about of making feminism happen. Support her love for makeup, for beauty. Do things with her. Also, empower the language of communication. When she asks you about something for women's rights, about hijab, about anything require or go back to women, talk to her. Allow her to ask questions. Don't say haram. Don't say aib. Don't say this is the order of Allah. And educate yourself. As I said, if you have a problem with a certain thing, you have to go and ask about it. Even if your daughter came to you with something you don't know, say, wow, encourage her. This is an amazing question. I will go and research and share it with you because I trust what Allah brings is the right. Next, make the hijab a habit. Start from an early age and build a happy and a good experience, a good connection with hijab. What does that mean? Start early. Control the way she looks and appear in the street. Don't say she's young. Don't let her wear bikini. When she wear a dress, let her wear an underpants under. She needs to get used that she has a private body. And when she grow up gradually, cover the important part that need to be covered. And let her know hijab is not a choice. Encourage this idea in her head. Hijab is not a choice. Because when she grow up knowing it's required, she's not going to resist it when she grow up. Also, when she's used to wear hijab when she used to believe in hijab and wear secure clothes, when you come to her when she's at age 15 and 18 and say it's time to wear hijab, she's not going to resist you. I feel it's unbelievable to come to a girl that used to wear what she wants, that there is no rule, no secure cloth, and you say, well, time to wear a hijab. Of course she's going to resist you. She tastes the freedom. She did not grow up knowing it's a necessary. So be careful to make it as a habit since they are young girls. And what I mean also, do not force hijab in this young age. This is just a picture I put to reflect my idea. Do not force them to wear it before the time. If you want to do it as a habit in the mosque and just for salah, that's okay. But this is wrong. This is going to make them hate hijab and get out of the way they're supposed to go. Also, find the role model. Be that for a role model. And connect her with the right friend. The friend that they cover their head. The friend they adore hijab. And if you see people does not do it, just pull her out in a nice way without judgment. Teach her to not to judge those people because we're not the judge in this earth. Also, girls these days lack role models and they may get impressed by social media influencer who doesn't wear a hijab or nowadays who took off the hijab in a ceremony and celebrating way. You need to let her continue watching them. Do not stop her. But speak to her about the wrong action she did. Do not encourage it. I don't mind letting her continue watching it, but judge it and support it and control it. Finally, be patient, kind, and loving. And I want to be honest with you. We don't live in Al-Jannah. And hijab is one of the difficult ibadah for women in our time. And we don't live in the La La Land. It's not flowers and butterfly. be patient, be kind, support them. Do not blame yourself. Do not blame them. It is hard to put the hijab nowadays. And don't say Western country is bad. All the earth is bad. All the countries is difficult and challenging to wear hijab. Hijab is hard. It's a jihad. And I would like clap and stand out of respect for a girl who choose to wear it willingly, because this is an amazing, amazing achievement. Finally, you have a weapon called dua. Put your hand up. Make the dua for Allah. They were it or not. Wallahi, wallahi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. They will come back to you. They will come back to you. And Allah know your niyyah, know your intention, and will help you. May Allah bless you and bless your children and cover all of them with hijab. Before I conclude, I want to share with you a story. This is a true story, but I name it the story of light and fire. Well, once upon a time, many, many years ago, in a land far, far away, there was a child, a female child, who born in a rich and powerful and strategic family. She suffered a lot of discrimination against her by her parents, especially her mom, because she's a girl. She wanted to get a proper education. She heard no, because you're a girl. One day she got sick, she and her brother, and she wanted her mother to stay by her bed. Her mother said no, because he's a boy and you are a girl. She grew up, and people says when she was 5 or 10, her dad passed away. And to get access to her money, she needed to be forced to marry her cousin, who's 40 years older than her. She was strong and have strong character. She insisted for him to get divorced with his wife, even though he has a daughter in her age. She married him for 2 years. After 2 years, she discovered that he went back to his first wife. She got very mad and angry and divorced him. At that time, she felt powerful. She felt free. So she traveled out of her country. She got a very proper education. After 7 years, she came back and went back to her husband. She had a daughter and a son. She established an organization to free women. She was the creator of an organization to support feminism. People, women around the country were coming to her, knocking her door to support them, to take their rights. She was the symbol of women's rights at that time. One day, the door get knocked, and a poor, no one singer came to her. She said, "Please help me. Please support me. I am pregnant illegally with a man, and he doesn't want to say this is my baby. He doesn't want, says I am married to him." She was so ready to help her. She was so ready to get that poor woman right, until she discovered that man was her son. She got angry. She went crazy. She fired her. She fought her. She threatened her. She used every money and power and relationship to get her out of the map. The lady gave birth for another lady, for her granddaughter. And she came back to her asking her to stand for 2 ladies instead of 1. She refused. And after many, many years, that poor lady won her case against her in the court and proved that she's married to that boy and that's his daughter. Well, when I look at that story, and this is the reason why I named it by that name, I see a thin line between light and fire. Light help open guide, but fire burn and destroy. And when your ethics and moral and desire stand between what you stand for because it doesn't fit with what benefits you, you are as a leader, as a human fall. Does anyone know who's that woman? She's from an Arabic country. She's from Egypt. Do you know this woman? Huda Sha'rawi. And wallahi, I'm not bashing her. She's dead and she went to Allah. Huda Sha'rawi, to continue the story, she was memorized Al-Quran fully when she used to be a child, but she has a bad childhood. Huda Sha'rawi is the founder and establisher for the first feminist organization in the Middle East, starting in Egypt, then spread it in the whole Arabic world. Huda Sha'rawi is the first woman who guided women to march in the street. And she left the train station wearing a hijab and took it off in a celebrated ceremony. She stepped on it, and some people said she burned it. Huda Sha'rawi was the symbol of liberty in her time. And again, I'm telling you, I'm not bashing her because of what she did. She went to Allah. But I want to say three things about this story. She got an Islamic story, but she got an Islamic education. She memorized the Quran, but she had a very, very bad and discriminated childhood. She did not wear al-hijab because she knew what is hijab. She wore al-hijab because this is the way women need to wear al-hijab. She got married at the age of 10 to a man that older than her 40 years. What do you accept from someone like that? Also, Huda Sha'rawi is the mother of a man who abuse and do not respect women. So when we say men are the problem, no, men are not the problem. Women who raise men, who discriminate between women and men, are the reason. So when we raise our children, pay attention to this important part. Also, when you have a message and you stand for that message and you be known for it, and you don't have establish a strong background that go to the correct one, which is Islam and only Islam, you will fall, you will be damaged, you will be crumbled because you cannot pass that ethical dilemma that you face. May Allah bless her with a rahmah. She went to Allah. To conclude, I want to say, when you raise your child, your daughter, remember that she is your door to Jannah. She will open the path for you to Jannah. Raise her to be knowledgeable. Raise her to be strong. Raise her to be educated. Raise her to be proud that she is Muslim. Teach her that when Islam comes to the table, equally and directly, the word right, women rights come to the table. Teach her to stand high, strong, and proud if somebody looked at her and dismissed her because she is a woman and she is wearing a hijab. Finally, there is an old Jewish prayer where men worship Allah by saying, "Thank God you did not made me a kafir, not worshiping you, and did not made me a woman." Imagine they use this word, while on the other hand, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm here to answer your questions.
How to address girls, especially teenagers, when they teenage girls, or maybe after around 10 or 8, I don't know, who raise questions, they don't want to get married. I have heard a lot of from my friends as well. I mean, even while they're talking to each other, uh, I don't remember the age of her, but she was exchanging during the talk that they were talking, and both mom and dad were listening, and they were claiming why we want to marry, we can have cats. They were funny talking between the girls, but I mean in their mind they don't want to get married. So how to communicate with them and
If I understand the question, she's 10 years old. And I think this is like not a mature age to talk about marriage. The future. Yeah, but when I raise a girl, I don't want to teach her that life depends on marriage. Yeah, she has a role, but the husband may not come. The husband may come and she get divorced. So I raise her that she has a role. She maybe she will be a mother in the future, but not convincing her with marriage. And the best message to send about marriage is to have a good marriage with your husband, a good relationship in your life. And this is the fitrah. She will grow up on it and she will like it. Other question?
It's not questions. I want to say how even our generation, when we grow up, they just talking more about the culture than the religion, and this is I don't like it. For example, as you said, they don't say they don't talk about the hijab as Islamic. They is they like you cannot go without hijab. Our neighbor will see you. Our family will say, look to her daughter. She not wearing hijab. The parents should exactly explain the hijab in Islamic way first and why it's fard. And but most of the girls, they think it's part of the culture, and you can see this is in most of the village in Jordan, Palestine, Syria, Lebanon, Afghanistan. When they come here to USA, they said we are free. It's a freedom country. It's not part of our culture. But if they explained for them, it's in the Islamic way. Even if she go to the moon, she will keep her hijab, right?
And this is what I meant by self immune system. She knows the root and she protected. Any other question? Yeah.
What is your opinion for wearing a jilbab for young hijabi girls?
So, as I said, fashionable hijab is required here. And we live in a Western country. If you want to wear the jilbab, wear it, but as a young girl, you are a reflection of your religion. You go to school, a lot of young girls look up to you. Wear a secure clothes. You're the messenger of Allah. Cover your legs, cover your thighs, but you don't need to go to that extremeness of covering yourself because you are going to be an example for other girls. You don't want them to run away. And people, as I said, they need to know you're fashionable, you know how you should dress up, how you reflect your own religion. Did I answer your opinion, your question? Perfect. Other question? Yeah.
Uh, like I believe we are average of 5 people around us. Psychology says that, and most of our daughters and boys are going in the schools where most of their friends are non-Muslims, and they don't. They want to be like them because the 5 people closest to them and their friends, because once they're teenagers, especially 13, 14, they consider friends to be more closer than the parents, and what we try to teach them is a lecture. So how do we conduct, like, considering we can bring them here, but of course, their main friends would always be in the school, and they would like to be like them. So, like, I feel sometimes helpless how to conduct in that case.
Sure. So last week we talked about identity. We talked about how we should raise children on in Islamic identity. I agree with you. Raising children here is difficult because they want to be like their friend, but you should start early at your home. And we said last week we have a standard, a rule that call we're Muslim. But you need to talk to them and explain this rule by love. For example, your kids came to you and talk about which topic? Like going to a dance, for example. And you said, he says, everybody go to the dance. I want to be there. You said, honey, I love you so much. And I support any decision you make. But wallahi, if it's in my hand, I will send you. But wallahi, it's not in my hand. This is Allah rules. And we're Muslim. Honey, I cannot do anything about it. How about you want to go with your friend? You want to spend time with your friend? How about we go reserve a ticket to the movie and you go together? How about you go to the mall, for example, to the Spectrum together? Give them choices. Give them stuff instead of doing certain things. There is standard in our religion. You need not to cross. If it's no and haram, no and haram. But it's the way you communicate with them. And you will hear a lot of comparison, a lot. But reach to their heart in a nice and a soft way. Do not challenge them. And one thing also, it's okay if you make some exceptions sometimes. Like, you want to go to the dance? Okay, one time only. But you have to promise me, I trust you. I know you are a good boy and you're not going to do anything wrong. You're not going to touch girl, you're not going to dance with girl, you're going to do the correct thing. But look, this is one time and one time only. I want you to go and see it's not a big deal. For example, did I answer the question? I know, and it's a challenge. I know, but wallahi, even in Islam, if the home is trying to spread the moral of Islam, even if they spread, they will come back. Even if they go out of the road, they will come back. Do not expect perfection. It's impossible, especially when we live here. And it's okay. Let them make a mistake, but pull them to you back by nice and kindness. Do not shame them. Do not kick them out of the home. There is no perfection. And actually, let them do the thing if they're insisting in doing it instead of they doing it behind of your back. But limit it. Guilt to them when they do it. Do not make it okay, it's open and free. You understand?
I was just, it's not a question, I was just adding to it that I guess it's not the people from other religions or other cultures they are disturbing our kids. It's mainly the Muslims who are not practicing Islam. We have this huge problem at home that, Mama, you're always asking me to wear such clothes. No one is wearing full clothes in school. So for me, it's really hard to tell my daughter and my kids that this is not permissible in Islam because Allah doesn't like it. There's always a counterattack that no Muslim is doing it. So
This is actually an amazing question because also you can explain to them and say, when we go to Jannah, we're not the same in Allah. There is level in Jannah. There is special places for people. Not all Muslims are following the Islam how it's supposed to do. And your reward and your ajr is double. Tell them, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said in the hadith, talked about al-ghuraba, about people. What is the hadith? Somebody remind me? طوبى للغرباء. And this hadith, Rasulullah ﷺ explained in the end of time, people gonna holding on their religion like holding in, what is jamra? What? calls, like holding on a calls that hot calls. Teach them that hadith, and this is truth. This is how we're living, and this is what we're facing. Do you have any other question? Just 1 minute, Mr. Katz, yeah. Okay. How old is she? Nice. So that push, it's going to be by communicating with her and talking to her and using the method of الترغيب and الترهيب, and like saying there is reward and punishment, but be nice. Don't push her out of Islam and say, look, you're an adult and I love you very much. And I am not responsible for you anymore, but I love you and I fear for you. La سمح الله, if you die, you're going to be asked about the hijab. And we don't know when we die. You're beautiful. Please cover yourself. For not only for me, just for my heart. Tell her, just for my heart, to feel you are okay. And you need to know you don't have anything to do but making dua and trying to communicate with her in a positive way. Because she's an adult now and you did your part in it. And al-hidayah min Allah, like guidance is from Allah. Seriously, new generation is just hard. All the question done? You want to make a comment?
Somebody shared, my son wanted to go in two gatherings. One was non-Muslim, Diwali, and I let him go. But when he came back and I asked him what happened, and I asked him, did they dance? And he said yes. And they danced. And I asked him, the both genders together? He said yes. And I asked him after, when he came back, have you ever seen your mom or your dad dancing together with the mixed gender? He said no. So, sometime we can let them go and see the experience. And the other time, he was with the Muslim family, by the way. Unfortunately, it was a mixed gathering, danced all together. It's called, in Pakistani or Indian culture, it's called Mehndi, which I don't believe in, by the way. So, I mean, he made some short videos and he showed it to me. And then I asked him one question. The girls are dancing, although I respect them, but the girls are dancing. Would you see your sister dancing this way? And, the other audience are seeing that. Would you see her, seeing her as a respectable person? And, if they attend, or let them go, but like once, experience once, and then ask questions, make their own decisions, through their own decisions. Is it good or is bad? Should I go one more time again, or should I stop now? Because we did go as well, right, in our back times.
I agree with you in one point. Let them go and try it once, but there is standard in Islam because they're gonna keep doing it. They need to know it's haram. How can they stop? How can they put that line? And I don't recommend sending them to specific thing, and it's up to everyone, because and unless they insist on it as what they say, a leaf of peace between us to build a relationship.
Actually, I want to ask you about two things. What is the best age to start approaching or talking hijab for girls? And the age that I know that by this age, it will be very difficult to take the decision for hijab, to make sure that before that age, she took the decision.
Perfect question, actually. So, hijab start from the baby. The girl is a baby. You secure her, and we will talk actually a lot in 2 weeks about this. The way she dress up, the way she sit down, the way she walk, it's really important. Starting talking about hijab as a topic early as age 6. Talk about it as a positive thing, buy her a scarf, and I totally recommend covering a certain area of the body, not showing the curve, because I want it to be a habit. It's gonna be difficult, nothing difficult for Allah, but after 10, after puberty, let's say, it's gonna be challenging if you do not start talking and securing her body and make hijab as a habit. eh, is going to be difficult. And there is some situation where girls start hijab with themselves. So al-hidayah min Allah. No, you mean cover? No, no. Covering the head, you should have a talk with your daughter when she's from 9 to 12 that you're preparing her for hijab, and hijab will be on her head after puberty, after her period come. This is the sign for that. And when she starts showing feminism in her body, the body needs to cover in a certain way. For example, if she's showing the breast, she needs to go and change the shirt. If the shirt is really tight, she needs to go back and change the shirt. And do not communicate with her like, go out, change. Say, honey, did you see yourself before you leave the room? I don't think this is appropriate. Can you please go and choose different dress? I love this shirt in you, but it's not appropriate outside. And believe me, I have a daughter. Sometimes she scream and hit the door and go running to the stairs, but she go, and that happened. But hijab, covering the scarf, puberty.
Talk about girls, how about boys? Because sometimes you see men, oh, about the hijab. I mean, because sometimes you see the woman is covered and her husband is wearing some.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this is a very good point. I was preparing to talk about it, but I think I forgot. When we explained hijab to girl, we told her part of the equality in Islam, that Allah also required hijab on men. There is something called awra. Men, hijab is different. What does hijab mean? Hijab means covering. Hijab doesn't mean the scarf. Covering the private area that's required for a certain part of the body. So men also, when you raise them, and I also will talk about this in 2 weeks when we talk about puberty and homosexuality, they need to have a dress code. The short doesn't go under the knees. Yeah, and even when they go out, if you have a sister at home, there is a rule. When you sit down, cover your private area. At salah, you're wearing a short, go change. So there is actually way of explaining to them. And this is also start from being a newborn. And we will talk deeply about that, inshallah. I don't want to keep you longer. I think we passed the time. But before we go, I want to share a girl here that, mashallah, she wear the hijab willingly without anyone asking her for that. And she was an example even for me, an inspiration. Can you stand up, Jude, please? Please. How old are you? So she's 15 and she wear the hijab willingly. She suddenly surprised her mom and wear the hijab. And if you don't mind sharing this, her mom wore the hijab because of Jude. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. So she is a blessing. I love you. And can you share why did you choose hijab?
I chose to wear hijab because, like, I remember I never thought about it before, but during Ramadan, I would wear it every day to Tarawih prayer, and I never thought about it then. But one of my mom's friends, like, or one of my friend's moms, started talking to me and like complimenting me in hijab and saying all this nice stuff to me. So then I started thinking about it, and I was like researching more about it and like thinking like, okay, like I have to wear hijab now, and it's just like I just thought it was like really beautiful, and I ordered like my first undercaps and my first hijabs and like stuff like that.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. May Allah bless you. And by the way, she's very fashionable. Her hijab is secure.
Miss, so the first time you wore hijab and you went to school, how did you feel and how were you? Yeah,
So I was really nervous when I first wore it to school because I didn't know how people would react because I like these people I've known them since third grade, and I didn't know like how they would feel about it. And I'm not gonna lie, someone did call me like really like the second day I wore it, someone wasn't like that nice, but like some of my friends, they were all really nice to me, and like people didn't really care that much. Like they just saw me the same, so it wasn't like really big to them, but it still made me really nervous.
MashaAllah, may God bless and protect her. Thank you so much, guys. Next week, we don't have a session because of Thanksgiving. Please try to come in 2 weeks. We will talk about homosexuality, and it's really, really important topic. Thank you. Have a good break. Bye.